Welcome back to another vlog. This one I start with a mysterious meeting with Ben Ferrier from BZM Creative. Now, I'd never met him before, but it helped me on a project recently, so we caught up for a chat. Okay, thought I would actually document this for a second. I've just built the Fx6 back out after it being packed away from the shoot last week for Power Trip, and just gotten some gear ready for a shoot that I've got tomorrow. So unsure if I'll need all of this stuff. Got the Aperture 300C, my Amaran T4C tube over there that I'll be potentially using for the first time on a shoot. Boom, kit, spare stuff in that camera bag, and then a few bits and bobs in here. Doctor's kind of case, but yeah. Feels like a lot of stuff for a shoot, but yeah. Now this was a shoot for Trident Homes, linked up with the Tactics. Now they're the main sponsor of the Tactics, so this was a piece for them involving some Tactics players. So felt pretty comfortable with that, but it's more the brief and how everything was going to look once we were on set. Oh, okay, all packed and ready to go. A bit janky at times, and I still need to chuck this one in, which has like my A7 IV and a few other lenses and stuff in there, so I'll just chuck this on top. But I hopefully won't need most of this gear. Weather is freezing. It is icy. So we may need to delay the interiors until the sun's kind of kicked in and melted some of that like frost off. Because at the moment, like all the grass will look like this, which won't be good. Okay, just jumping on here vertically because I can't really twist my camera that well on my car mount, but driving to the shoot, and I thought I would give you my rambling 2 cents, my 2 cents. Heading to the shoot and pumped, but also nervous about all of the possibilities. Like, the house could be super dark. The light, the sun hitting the house could be at a really janky angle, and the outside shots could be super difficult. Using my 5-in-1 reflector as a diffusion might be too harsh, and then I might need to bring in more light. And then there's just, honestly, there's just like in the next few hours, there's about a gazillion decisions that I'm going to need to make. And that's just part of the job, and it's what I guess what makes it exciting. But when you're going there and you just don't, the unknown is like kind of sketchy at the same time. You're just like, oh man. And my biggest fear is that we're shooting for 2 hours, and we need to get a bunch of talking pieces to the camera scripted, so the girls need to nail them, but we also need a bunch of B-roll. So it's like making sure we get everything. Do I boom? Do I use lapel mics? What's the situation going to be like? And I just don't know, but you've just got to kind of deal with it, which is really part of the fun. I've said it once, probably not on here, but I'll say it again. Problem solving is just such a good skill, a good muscle to develop. And I harped on about that, and I realized that when I was a high school maths teacher many years ago, kids would be like, why are we learning this? And I'm like, well, it's literally, life is just about problem solving. And you may not see them as problems, but you'll come across many problems in your life, and your ability to manage that and find a solution is very valuable. And those who struggle with that are just going to battle. So I think it's a good skill to learn. That's my rant. But I'm finding that more and more and more with video shoots. It's like there's so many things and problems that could come up, and your ability to manage those could be the difference between you being at a certain tier compared to someone else who just deals with crappy lighting and whatever else, or doesn't know where to put the talent because, you know, like, I'm rambling. But yeah, I think problem solving is mega key. But also your ability to just communicate with people. Like, some people suck at that, and wow. All right, rant over. Okay, on set, this was the house. There's Lily from Paper Mache, she's great, and Jess from the Tactics. Getting the frame set up, ended up deciding to boom, and yeah, here's some examples of some of the frames that we were playing with and figuring it out. So it was fun. We had to be pretty mobile, get all our shots, and settle on some spots pretty quick. The sun was going to be popping in pretty hard, but
Lily was there with the iPad, so she was monitoring the view connected to the Fx6. So I love that feature. It's going really well with my clients.
Are you serious?
Nah, it's
Do
shoot went well. It was hectic, like honestly hectic. I got there, I had about 48 flipping bags. I don't know, I definitely now see why you would want a lighting person and a soundy. Like, it just would be so nice to just be worrying about the frame, not like, yeah, there was a million things. We tweaked a bunch of different angles. We had the talent delivering their lines. They had to remember them, so it was stressful for them. But then it was pretty much like harsh, crazy, bright sunlight outside. So it was managing that to the best of our abilities. There were a few frames where we kind of couldn't avoid it, but yeah. And overall feedback of the monitoring app with the Fx6, I just didn't turn off my camera the whole time, so I had a constant connection. The client was there watching, and she said multiple times that it was like really handy to be able to kind of see roughly what we're looking at. And even a few times we set up a frame and thought, oh, it needed something over in the corner, so she cruised over to the corner, started pottering, and she could look and see how it was looking on the frame straight away. So yeah, overall big fan. But yeah, now I have to go home, charge everything, ready for the shoot tomorrow, the road trip to Hamner, and download all the footage, back up all the footage, and yeah, hopefully it was all good. It's kind of one of those shoots where you're like, did we get everything? But fingers crossed. Had this drone for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks now, and haven't flown it yet. So I'm just going to literally pop it up just here in my backyard, just to check out the color profiles, get that dialed in, so when I do fly it, I know how to expose for it and everything. But I'll have to go set it up, so here we go. As I've said in previous vlogs, like, the drone and I's relationship has been an interesting one. I was frothing them early on, but then when you get more particular about the shots and the quality of the shot, and you get spoiled with like big fancy cameras with 10-bit image and all this like dynamic range, you're like, what the hell's drone footage? It's just not good enough. But this is probably being the first drone that I've worked with where I'm really happy with what I'm getting out of it. But yeah, it was good to just pop it up, have a little quick flight. It's just funny how I bought it but never really had a chance to use it for a few weeks, but it is what it is. But yeah, quick test flight in the backyard went well. Now this was another night, me playing around in the garage late in the night, getting the Fx6 set up with like the top handle and everything. I'd heard it can be done, I've seen people do it online, so I was like, okay. Then I just was checking everything was working. At first I thought, this is kind of working. Maybe I can get away with this in a pinch, because I don't want to strip this camera fully back and then build it back out, and then strip it, then build it back out. So I was just playing around with different options. And sure enough, everything was going well. I was like, oh, I can kind of get this working. Seems to be a bit janky. And it was working great until it wasn't. You can see it kind of quivering there. Here we go. I'm like, what's that beeping? Ooh. Whoa. Okay. Sweet.
Mint.
Back here in the storeroom, packing for the next shoot, and was just playing around with the gimbal, trying to, like, okay, my dream scenario, people would probably say just buy Fx3, but would be to roll this camera and then whack it on the gimbal, cruise around, and then be able to whack it handheld and just keep running that setup. I don't want to break it down. Yes, I'm in slippers. I don't want to break it down, and then I don't want to build it back up. And I kind of don't want to use the A7 IV for that job. So I tried to mount it with as much stuff as possible. It didn't work. But then I was just thinking, well, everywhere I look, the lighting is bad. I was thinking I just need to be more intentional with my shots. And I need to know, when does this require a gimbal shot? When is a gimbal shot really going to help tell this story, or help
convey the energy or the emotion that I need. And then let's run and grab the gimbal and have it set up, have it ready in an office nearby for the shoot tomorrow. And then shoot that. And know before the shoot. It's just like a revelation, and it makes complete sense. But I'm very much like used to events where you're just like, looking around, hunting for frames and being like, like today's shoot, when I have a zoom lens, I'm just punching in, punching out. I'm indecisive about what the frame is. And it's like committing to a frame and just kind of letting it ride out for 10 seconds is something I want to work on. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.